Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game in the most powerful engine series. We're going to be building the most powerful inline 6 engine in version 4.2.10. This is the final engine in the inline category. In the future, I'll wrap things up with the Boxer 4 and 6 engine, which those videos will come out within the next couple of weeks roughly. So right now, let's get on to building this hella powerful inline 6 that Toyota can't compete. So the first thing you gotta do on the top of portion of your screen is you set the year to the year of 2020 to maximize everything about the engine. After choosing the inline 6 configuration, you may choose any block material that you could choose from. I'm doing magnesium for the sake of weight and everything. For the family capacity right here, you set the bore and stroke, max this out to 120 millimeters each to get the engine size to 8,143 cubic centimeters, or around 8.1 liters, with a dual overhead cam 4 valve made out of whatever head material that you may choose from. Again, doing aluminum silicone for weight. And to my right with this quality slider, you have to maximize this bad boy to a plus 15 for everything. Whether it's for the block in general, the turbocharger, bottom end, everything. Just to get the most performance, reliability as possible for this particular engine. For the balance shaft, you must have a harmonic damper installed to prevent the crankshaft from exploding. And for the rest about this engine, the crankshaft gotta be made out of billet steel, the con rods and lightweight titanium, and regular forged pistons. For the compression, just like my other builds in this series, you set this bad boy to a 15.0 to 1 ratio, with the cam profile nearly maxes out to a 98, and the springs and lifters stiffen this up quite a bit to a 65. And the first time in this video, we're not going to be using VVT at all cams, but VVT only for the intake. Because if I were to do all cams, then the turbocharger will go kapooey, unfortunately. And speaking of the turbo, so for the turbocharger, we're going to be using a twin turbo setup running on a smart boost system, with the intercore maxed out to 12,100 horsepower. For the aspiration details, we gotta use a variable geometry setup with ball bearings, with the compressor maxed out to 120 millimeters. The turbine also maxes out to 108.6 millimeters. The trim maxes out also to 100, and the back boost set to a fairly high 45 psi. For the fuel system, it's just like my other builds, but with a twist. So we're going to be using a direct injection throttle cylinder configuration running on a performance high intake, running on the recently implemented DevMeth fuel, with the fuel mixture set to a 10.3, a fairly high one. The ignition timing maxes bad boy out to 100. And lastly, for the max RPM, set to 8,500 RPM. And finally, for the exhaust and everything, so we're going to be using some turbocharged racing headers with our only option, a single exhaust, with the exhaust diameter set to 203 millimeters, which that equals to 8 inches. And of course, no cats, no mufflers, bring that quality up. And we get the final horsepower rating of 4,325.4 horsepower at 8,500 RPM. The torque at 2,794.3 pounds-feet of torque at 6,900 RPM. And with this engine, as you can see here, no knocking or valve flow, but with the RPM stress and the torque stress, preferably right here in red, we do get a lot of these stresses with this engine. But if you were to put this type of engine into a vehicle with automation and export it to BeamNG Drive, it'll run just as fine, but do notice, you're going to be having some turbocharger overheating issues later down the road. As you can see, the reliability factor is at a pretty meager 5.6. It's not the greatest. Alright, for this portion of the video, I'm going to give you here of what this engine sounds like. While playing around with it with the manual testing mode, I'll cycle through the main important graphs on here, starting from the power and torque, torque and boost, torque and efficiency, and power and efficiency. After showing you all those main and important graphs, I'll show the engine as is and do some fake gear shifts around like 40 seconds roughly, and we're going to be ending off the video right then and there. So right now, bring back the graphs and give you here right now. Being at 4,300 horsepower and bigger than a 2JZ engine. Tell Toyota to screw themselves. So that'll do it with Automation, the car company Tycoon game with this powerful inline 6 engine. It's very surprising that you can get over 4,300 horsepower with this kind of engine. This is the level of performance you get on a powerful V8 engine, but hey, it's powerful, so what else is there to complain about, right? And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future, including by Automation to BeamNG Drive videos too. So this is TRIZE rising up and signing out.